Hello, everyone. Welcome to In2Sports. I'm your host, Evan, and today we got a very exciting podcast for you. It's going to be a little bit short, but we're going to talk about my week 8 NFL picks. And I'm going to be picking the 5 most important games, in my opinion, and I'm going to be looking at the Vegas spread, and I'm going to be picking my team. I'm going to be picking the spread, and I'm going to be picking the final score for who wins the game. So let's start it with the Packers visiting the Rams. The Rams are a 9.5-point favorite. This game is important because the Packers, they're in the wild card race right now, and the Rams are the best team in football, undefeated. But at 9.5-point favorites, I know they're at home. Give me the Packers against the spread, but I do think the Rams will win this game 30-24. It's going to be high scoring. None of these defenses have really been great. I mean, the Rams on paper, they have a great defense, but they've been banged up in the secondary. And for Green Bay, Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb are expected to be active and playing this game. But for the Rams, I think Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Cooper Kupp is likely to be inactive for this game. But that just leaves more work for Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks. I think they're going to eviscerate this Packers defense. These young cornerbacks, Josh Jackson and Jair Alexander. I think it's going to be a big game for Goff. And I think Rams take it, but not by 10 or more. Now let's move down to the Sunday night football game. We have the New Orleans Saints visiting the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 1 point, and I'm taking the Saints. This game, it's going to be tough for me to watch. As a Saints fan, I try not to have that affect my decision of who I pick in this game. But Collinsworth and Al Michaels, they're going to talk about a Stephon Diggs 59-yard touchdown last year. Ooh, it just hurts my mouth to say those words. But I have the Saints winning 31-30. It's going to be really close. It's going to be high scoring. None of these defenses have been as good as they were last year. For Minnesota, Everson Griffin will likely return, and Dalvin Cook will be out for this game. It'll be Latavius Murray on the ground. The Saints actually have the number 1 run defense, so I don't think Latavius will get it going. I think it's going to be all on Cousins, but against a weak secondary. Saints traded for Eli Apple, but the key matchup is Ken Crawley on Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, the number 1 wide receiver in 2018. That's not going to be so fun for New Orleans. But regardless, Tre'Quan Smith, I think he catches a long touchdown against a Vikings defense that's been prone to give up the big play this year. Saints 31-30. Next up, the Eagles, 3.5-point favorites, quote-unquote, at the Jaguars. This game is in London. So the Jags, they're like home and away, home in a sense, because they always play one London home game, but they're really not home. So I'll take the Eagles against the spread, and I'll take them to win 23-16. Listen, Bortles has been awful. I mean, they straight benched him last week against the Texans. They traded for Carlos Hyde. I think he'll be involved, and I think he'll split with TJ Yeldon. TJ Yeldon, of course, getting more of the pass-catching work. But I think it'll be a low-scoring game because you have this Jags defense. Yeah, they've struggled, but I still think they're a top 5 defense in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boye, obviously in the secondary. I think they'll be locking up Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar. I think the key matchup is going to be Miles Jack on Zach Ertz. I think that's where going to be Philadelphia is going to be getting all their yards through there. Zach Ertz, I think, will have a big game, despite a tough matchup against Miles Jack. Really, Boye and Ramsey are going to be locking down the secondary. So once he's going to have nowhere else to go. But the Jaguars offense against this Eagles defense, I think that's the key matchup for me. Because the Jaguars have been awful. I mean, at wide receiver, you have Keelan Cole, Dede Westbrook, Dante Moncrief, and none of them have established themselves as the one. At the beginning of the season, it was, Keelan Cole is going to step up. He's going to emerge. Then Dede Westbrook had a few good games. Now it's Moncrief who's been hot recently. So we'll see who it is in this game. But I like a low-scoring affair and the Eagles to win it by a touchdown. Let's go to the Ravens. 2-point favorites on the road against Carolina. I'm still taking the Ravens. even though they're 2-point favorites going into Carolina. I'll take them 20-17 because the Ravens, they're excellent against the rush. Last year they really stuffed them, not last year, last game. They really stuffed Mark Ingram and limited Kamara on the ground. And the Panthers, they've been reliant on this good offensive line, but McCaffrey has been leading the charge for them. I think he'll have a tough game on the ground. I think it'll be Newton trying to air it out, and his receivers Funchess, DJ Moore. They're not going to cut it against this Ravens secondary. So I think the Ravens win in another low-scoring game, 20-17. I think John Brown maybe has another signature big play. Crabtree, I don't think he has a big game here, but it's going to be low-scoring. It's going to be won on the ground, and whatever quarterback can convert the third down and hit the big play, I think that's a team that will win. And today, or on Sunday, I'm recording this Thursday, I think that team will be the Baltimore Ravens. Now into our last matchup. We got the Cleveland Browns going into Pittsburgh, Heinz Field, to play the Steelers. Steelers 8-point favorites. And I'll take the Browns against the spread. I do have the Steelers ultimately winning this game at 28-24. But 8 points, I think Browns can cover it. Steelers, yeah, they've stepped up on defense a little bit in the last few weeks. But I think Baker kind of exposes them. I think Nick Chubb has at least one touchdown on the ground. And as far as Pittsburgh, I think it'll be high scoring. I think Antonio Brown has a huge game. And James Conner, in week 1 against the Browns in the bad weather on the road, he had a superb game. I think we can expect another one of those on Sunday. So I'll take the Steelers in the game, but the Browns against the spread, just because you're giving me 8 points against a subpar defense. I think Baker gets it done. Baker, he's played pretty well this year. I know last week he got off to a slow start, picked it up in the second half against a terrible defense, Tampa Bay. But according to Pro Football Focus, he's far outperformed Sam Darnold up to this point. And I think that trend continues. But they will still lose by 4. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, that was a quick 7-minute podcast by me, just to highlight the 5 most important games and who I think will be the victors and who I would take if I was betting. Now, I'm not saying bet, don't bet. Betting is not good. But if I was going to bet, those are who I would take personally this Sunday in week 8. So if you guys enjoyed, maybe subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.